Welcome back, guys. Mitch here with Brookview Farms, and it's been 2 weeks since we planted our pepper plants into the greenhouse here, and they're starting to grow quite a bit now. They're looking pretty good, and we still have the plastic wall up here which we'll be taking down in probably a few days. And there's 3 rows here. We'll be separating the rows across the entire greenhouse, and we will eventually tie the plants to strings hanging from the top of the greenhouse. So over the last couple weeks, I've just been ensuring that the plants are getting enough water so that the roots in these grow blocks here root into the Coco Coir slabs. So it's really important to make sure that these blocks don't dry up while the roots are going into the Coco Coir slabs. The other thing about these Coco Coir slabs, especially at the beginning, is they often come with a lot of potassium and sodium locked up inside the Coco Coir. So at the beginning stages, I really like to make sure that I'm watering the plants enough to flush out that excess potassium and sodium. And why this is really important is because during this process, the Coco Coir, it basically steals the magnesium and calcium from the water source that we're feeding our plants, and that gets locked up in the Coco Coir and is not available to the plants. So this step is really important to make sure that we are watering enough and flushing out that excess potassium and sodium. If we don't do this, our plants will not be able to get enough magnesium and calcium, and you will see the leaves will start to turn yellow and the plants will be very stunted. So as you can see right now, the plants, they're looking pretty good. So I think I've been watering them enough and we're not getting any problems with that. A common thing that growers do with new Coco Coir is buffering the Coco Coir. So this is when we apply, say, a calcium nitrate solution at a pretty concentrated form and let that soak into the Coco Coir before we transplant. So yeah, we're off to a pretty good start here, and pretty soon we're going to be pruning these plants. These are bell pepper plants in this greenhouse, and I'll be pruning them to only 2 stems. So if we look at this plant here, you could see there's 1 stem here, there's another 2 here, and usually there's about 4. So over here you could see there's a branching of 4 stems. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it will start to split again. So the entire idea with what I'm doing is I'm only going to keep 2 of the branches, and I'll continue to prune them throughout the year. So that'll probably be in the next video. Another thing that I do in this early stage here is these flowers. So you can see down here, there's already some flowers growing, and what I do is I actually will pull these flowers off when the plants are small like this. The reason I do that is because right now I want the plant to be focusing on vegetative growth. I don't want it to be focusing on trying to mature a pepper when the plant is this small. So I'm trying to get the plant to basically a specific size before I start letting the plant produce fruit. And what this does is it allows the plant to produce fruit more consistently later in the year, and you could potentially get a higher yield. Over the last couple weeks, I have been adjusting the EC and pH a little bit since I first started. When I transplanted these plants, I was feeding around 2.7 EC, and that was during really cloudy and cold weather. But now the sun is starting to come up a lot more and we're getting warmer weather, so I just want to be giving a little bit lower EC. So I have reduced it to 2.5 EC, And the pH, I was giving 5.7 pH, but when I was testing the drainage, I noticed that the pH was actually quite low coming out of the bags. So I have been feeding a higher pH recently just to counter that. So there's 2 more greenhouses at another location that we're gonna check out, and I'll show you the progress of those plants as well. Right here in front of me, we have this one greenhouse, and it's actually currently empty. And the reason for this is because all of the plants that are going in there are in this one greenhouse for now. And the reason I'm doing this is just so I save money on heating the greenhouses. So right now they're still small, so I could fit all of the plants in this one greenhouse and get them established into the Coco Coir bags, and then probably in a few days I will be transplanting them or carrying the plants over to the greenhouse in there, and then I'll start to heat that greenhouse as well. So it's a very temporary setup. I do have some drip irrigation like the other greenhouse, but I actually didn't have enough tubing to put into every single block. So I actually have been just hand watering with this wand here. I've been doing that once a day, and the plants, they're looking pretty good. So whatever I'm doing now, it seems to be working. If you are familiar with the channel, you know I grow a bunch of different varieties of bell peppers and other peppers. And in this greenhouse here, I have jalapenos, cayenne, habanero, there's some poblano and some other types of sweet peppers in this greenhouse. In the first greenhouse I showed you guys, that is entirely bell peppers. That's pretty much it for the updates in this video, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one.